Peace, 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 and more peace. It is a vibe. It is a vibe. We ain't doing no big intros in here today. We gonna get straight to it. Let me get my comments on the screen, and we just getting straight into it. For those who show up late, so be it. You're gonna miss out. It is what it is. Y'all know 8:30 is what time I come on. Be here. Be subscribed. So we just getting straight into it. The reason most of y'all came here today, we're gonna talk about three different things today. The first thing we're gonna talk about, we're gonna talk about my first impressions of the new angels share, which would be angels share on the rocks. So I'm gonna give you my first impression on that. And as I do the live, I will go into see how it dries down. I'm gonna put that on skin. I'm just gonna see how it develops throughout the live. I may stop in between like maybe the 30-minute mark, see if it's changed around the 1 hour mark, see where we are. If we get to an hour and a half, that'll be the final. I'll start giving my final thoughts on that fragrance. So we'll do that. The second thing we will be discussing after I do my initial first impressions on the new angel share is we will be discussing my weekly rotation. In my opinion, I had a fire weekly rotation. A fire weekly rotation. It is the weekly rotation of tobacco, the best signature scent tobacco DNA that you can wear for a man. The best signature scent tobacco DNA. So I'm gonna give you my weekly rotation and what I wore. That'll be Monday through Sunday, the week of August 25th, right? Monday through Sunday. So what I wore last week, we're gonna get into that. And then after we get into the meat and potatoes, which is why most of y'all are here, which is my first impression on the new angel share. In my weekly rotation, if we have some time left, depending on where the time is, we will cover down on some community conversations where I will ask questions. Like if you have any questions reference to the fragrances I discussed, that'll be a great time to ask me those questions. If you have questions, or you just want to piggyback on the last live me and Triple B had, a lot of people had different things, but I got some thoughts. I got some deeper thoughts on that. It's just we were almost reaching that 2 hour mark. You know, Triple B ain't used to going 2 hours, and just for replay, I just don't know the value. I'm okay with doing it, but to be totally honest, I prefer to have 1 hour lives. If I'm gonna be out an hour to an hour and a half at most is really where I really want to be. But when the live is popping, people are in, and we get into what we get into, I don't mind carrying over if the conversation is good. But if the numbers start dropping or tilting too much, then we up out of here. So before we do that, I'm gonna do my first impressions on Kilian Angel Share, but you know, I'm gonna have a sip of the night in dedication to the first impression. So we're gonna go with Hennessy Masters Blend Selection number 5. I'm not much of a cognac person to a certain degree. I prefer my bourbons and whiskeys, but this number 5 is an amazing cognac. Very, very, very smooth. And I like the way that taste and smell. So I like the way that just straight up hits. So that's gonna be my, since we're doing first impressions on a Hennessy family fragrance, why not sip the Hennessy? So cheers, let that swirl. Citruses, vanilla notes, a little bit of toffee. This number 5 almost comes off like a bourbon a little bit, but a really sweet. You get tons of citruses in here. Orange. That ethanol is kind of heavy in here. And you could tell it was in French oak cask. Let that swirl and hit your palate, get some of that burnout. To the taste, I'm getting some of those like plum notes, getting some plum, some citrus, some vanilla. I'm getting hits of tobacco, a little bit of spice. I'm getting some spice there, maybe a little bit of cinnamon or a little bit of nutmeg. I'm getting a dry spice to this. So I'm getting citruses, that orange, dry spice, a little bit of like plum in here, almost pruny, almost actually, with the finished taste. Yeah, it's almost pruny. So I'm getting a little bit of prunes in there with a slight hit of like this toffee nuance to it. I would almost say this is a great, because of the spice, a great Christmas drink. It just smells amazing. And the taste is buttery smooth. So I do like the massive blend. I'm not the biggest Hennessy kind of person or Remy. If I want something really cognac for a good price or what you're going to pay, you can get something like Frap Pen, 270, 1270, which I have a bottle up there. I mean, you get that for like 69, 59, give or take. And it's just as smooth, if not smoother, because that comes from Grand Champagne. So when you look at a cognac, you want to get the best grapes because that's where it comes from in the cognac region of France. And you want to get Grand Champagne because that's like the highest, like up in the mountains where these particular grapes grow. So you want to kind of do that. You get a really good cognac, when you do that. But anyway, y'all not here for y'all cognac classes. Y'all want to see. So the benefits of buying retail is you make connections with sales associates. You develop relationships, especially if you are buying retail from a exclusive luxury high-end store like Bergdorf. Then you have access to more things than, let's just say, a Macy's. So my rep at Bergdorf that I like to deal with, they gave me another sample of Paradis, Angel Share's Paradis, but what y'all came here for was for Angel Share on the rocks. So we're going to see what this hitting on. We going straight to skin. No further ado, we ain't going to spend all day. If you're here and it's your first time being here, please hit the like button. So let me do my intro because I'm going to try to do an edit of this for those who don't want to see a whole 1 hour live and they kind of just want to know about the fragrance. I'm going to do my intro just for editing purpose. Peace for all y'all new here. It's your boy EQ. I'm going to be giving my first impressions on the new fragrance from the house of Kilian Paris, and that's going to be Angel Share on the Rock. I got this official sample from my connect at Bergdorf, my sales associate at Bergdorf. I'll probably leave his information down below in the description in case you want to reach out to him for some exclusive items. I'm going to put this straight on skin. We're going to see how this is going to work. As I go through this video and as I go through the live, I will be checking back maybe within a 30-minute mark to see how it dries down. After that, I will check it again at about 1 hour to see where it's smelling and then give my final thoughts on the overall fragrance. So let's just go ahead and do it. Put this on skin. So about 5 sprays. So I feel like I'm getting the essence of Angel's Share, the essence of what Angel Share is. So I'm getting a spice, but I'm getting this freshness to it. It's almost more wearable to a certain degree. Some people, Angel Share is a popular fragrance from the house of Kilian. But with some people or some women, you got that smoke kind of thing. I get something here that's bright, fruity, citrus. I feel like I'm getting tons of bergamot up top. I'm getting this almost cooling effect. So I'm thinking that's where this is. I'm not looking at the notes, but I feel like I'm getting a hit of cardamom in here. It almost like they used the same thing when they did apple brandy on the rocks. They used this cardamom, which is giving this fragrance a really good mass appealing feel. I don't want to say a designer-esque feel. I'm getting something that's sweet, fruity, aldehydes. Not as good as how Raja does his aldehydes, but it's a nice, like almost this powdery aldehydic, like breeze kind of thing. A little bit of spice, tons of citruses. vanilla, some woods, smells good, very pleasant, very pleasant. So first, I'll start off by saying this composition is extremely pleasant. That's one. Pleasantry is good for those who are spending 275 for a 50 ml. It's mass appealing because it's sweet and it has a freshness. You cannot go wrong with that when you start talking about fragrances that are highly complimented. So I'm getting this sweet, fresh, just easy to wear fragrance. And it has uniqueness to it. Even though it has this mass appeal feel to it, it still has this unique flavor profile to it. Yeah, man. Maybe some woods. The woods aren't to me aren't really smoky. I don't get the smoke in the bite. So when I'm comparing it to like real booze. So y'all, as y'all know, I'm really like strict and kind of judge boozy fragrances harsher. It's like a really smooth bite. So how many if you're a cognac drinker, sometimes or a bourbon drinker or whiskey, sometimes you got that like smoky wood, like you can taste the charred oak in this. This is very buttery, very smooth, like a French oak cask. Of course, French oak because it's cognac, but yeah, man, this is good. It's good. Now, do I want to pay 275 for it? No. I'll wait till it hits a discounter for 189, 190 personally, because they always hit the discounter. I don't feel the need to rush to get it. But I also take my opinion when I say that with a grain of salt, because I don't feel the need to rush and get anything actually that isn't a limited release. If it's a limited numbered release, then I kind of be like, I'm not messing around. I just need to get that. But if it's not, I'm in no need. I have stuff I can wear. And if anybody have watched any of my, if compliments are important to you, this is going to get me the same compliments that I get in every other fragrance I own, whether the fragrance is $100 or the fragrance is $1,000. It's going to be the same compliment. Somebody's going to walk by and say, you smell really good, just like they did with the $1,000 fragrance, just like they did with the $100 fragrance, or just like they did with the $60 Mancera fragrance I got on discount. So compliments on this, you're going to get it. It's not, I don't know if mind blowing would be the word or choice of word I would use for this, but is it good? Yes. Compliment getting? Yes. Easy to wear? Yes. Will it get, will it make a lot of content creators sexy list, date night list, first date list? This is a fragrance. Okay, y'all want environment. This is a fragrance that I can wear in these kind of environments on a first date. I don't think every fragrance you can wear on a first date. Like I love Blue Sapphire. Blue Sapphire has got me compliments. I wouldn't wear that on a first date. I would wear this on a first date. So that's a good thing, right? So this fragrance has utility. You can use it whether it's a first date, second date, third date, first impressions. You can just use it. So that gives it a plus. Utility, extremely wearable, fresh, sweet, and highly complimented. This is easily, even though I haven't worn this out, and I don't really, unless I get a bottle, I'll never do a full impressions, because I think people doing, a review on this much, I don't know how many times you wore it in different environments to give a full review on this little sample, especially when these samples don't spray the same amount that it would be coming out of a bottle. It's kind of, but to each his own for those who do full reviews on little samples. But yeah, I like it. I like it. This will make its way into my wardrobe. One, because I enjoy boozy fragrances. I think boozy fragrances make for a really good night fragrance, a really good date night fragrance. But what this adds is that sweet wearability that's mass appealing. And I think the fact that it has great utility, and even the fact that when you look at the grand scheme, $275, that's expensive, but I think when you start looking at, niche fragrances and what they're charging, I think that's inexpensive. When you start looking at what their regular bottles going for, when you get the glass refillable bottles, those are like $375 generally speaking. So $275 is $100 cheaper than those. Yeah, I like this. I want to see what this is going to do as this dries down. So what I'm going to do is give this fragrance a pause. Later on in the video, I will come back and see if it's changing a little bit. But I like this. I like this a lot. So we'll see. So I'm going to take a pause from that and we'll come back on that. In the middle of doing that, I'm going to read a couple of comments. If y'all have some comments on what I'm thinking, I will read a few of them and we'll see where that is. So Georgov Dasamor said it's the best of the three. It might be the more wearable, more versatile of the three. The best, I don't know if it's the best. Depends on how you look at it. It has more utility. So I'll say that. I think where you start going Angel Share, the OG, where that's more of this autumn winter kind of fragrance and a night fragrance if it's summertime. This is something I would wear. It has that sweetness. Of course, at least where I live at, I don't live in Arizona or California, so I can't tell you what this is going to do in 90-degree weather. It's kind of really sweet. It's super sweet. And for me, super sweet ambery fragrances can be headache-inducing in the hot weather. It gets sticky. I hate that personally. That's my personal opinion. Some people might like it. But this will, men, because that's who watch me, this will get you way more compliments. So I'm agree with Georgov Dasamor is this will get you way more compliments than probably any of the other two. Between Paradise, the OG Angel Share, this will be the most mass appealing compliment getting fragrance you can buy. For some people who are really niche heads who are spending $300, so they expect a little bit more, this could be a little pedestrian to them because in their mind, they're like, I'm paying this much money for the fragrance. I want it to be, yes, I want it to be mass appealing, but I want it to be special. And to me, it's not really special. It's really good. That's how I would describe the new Angel Share. It's not really special, but it's extremely good. Still keeps traces of the original DNA, but it is doing its own thing. It's doing its own thing. Let me read a couple more comments. I can tell you it's not great in the dry heat. Karen said that. Karen, and we have one of my female people who watches. I appreciate that. The 0.08% of you all, but I appreciate you do it. Let me read some more Karen thing. Is this a possible neck nibbler? Yes. It's not as cozy as the OG. Georgia Gent, haven't seen you in a while, brother. It says sounds good. They'll do next with the Angel Share line. I'll be curious to see what they do with the. I would love for them to give Angel Share a rest. I would love. It's the Hennessy Kilian family. I think they can be creative when talking about mixed drinks and things with the house, that I think they can be more creative. I think they should bury the hatchet after this. I wouldn't want to see another, but will they do another? Well, he sold, right? If I'm not mistaken, Kilian sold this brand. So maybe they're going to milk this. That's the problem when big corporations buy out a brand. They will milk they will milk a particular DNA. My video went to commercial, so I'm waiting to see some more comments. So I'm gonna wait till it go to the live. Does it have that cooling effect similar to latent in the opening? Great question, PJ. I I feel like I'm great question. So it's blended in this beautiful way that I don't know if it's the combination between bright citruses, because keep in mind, certain bright citruses just feel cool anyway. That's why in the hot weather, citrus fragrances just work because it feels cooling, right? So I don't know if it's the bright citruses or the combination between that brightness, the aldehydes, in this cardamom kind of thing. I don't know what notes in there. I don't look at the notes. I think note reading is irrelevant in reviewing because y'all have cell phones and y'all can look it up yourselves while watching a video. I just prefer to tell you what I get because some fragrances have 30 notes and you're not going to smell all 30 notes. That's just not the case. I don't believe most people can do that unless you're a trained perfumer. So I don't really get all into the notes no more if you're new to watching me, but I don't know if I would describe it as ice cold. When I smell this, I don't know if would describe it as ice. Like I have ice water here. Ice has a smell. I don't really know if I want to classify it as that, but it does have this. It could be semi-cooling. I'll say semi-cooling. Comparing it to Leighton, I've never really been a fan of Leighton, if I'm gonna be totally honest with you. I've never been a fan of it. I don't care how many people love it. It smells like Vic Vapor Rub if you spray too much of it on. And it's not my thing. Not my cup of tea. It's never been my cup of tea. But when I say cooling, think fragrances like Abercrombie and Fitch. What was their popular fragrance from Abercrombie? What's their popular fragrance? I can't think of the name of it. The one they've had several flankers of. I just can't think of the name of it. But y'all know what I'm talking about. The Abercrombie and Fitch one. Or think of fragrances like Mont Blanc Legend. Fierce. Yes. It has that fierce kind of cooling thing going on. It doesn't feel ice cold because to me, one of the most ice cold fragrances I own, there are two that I think are extremely ice cold. That would be Dior Homme Cologne. I think that has an ice cold feel to it. In Hermes Eau Givre. Eau Givre is ice cold to me. It feels, it wears, it just gives you that. I'm not getting that from here, but it gives me more of an Abercrombie and Fierce ice like cooling effect. So maybe a Percival, maybe something like that. Yeah, I mean, it's a good fragrance. It is a good. Out of all of them, it is the most wearable of all three. Now, what would I choose? I don't own Paradise yet because I'm not going to pay the price they're selling it for. And when I catch it for a good price, I'll buy it. When I catch it for a good price, I'll get it. I'll add it just because I want all of them. So I don't want to speak on that, even though I have now 2 small samples of that. I don't want to speak on that because I don't own the bottle. So I haven't worn it enough times to put it in different environments. And I don't own this bottle. So I don't want to speak on that. But I think wearability easily, I would say, is the most wearable. Did you wear DLC? I've never been a fan of Sauvage. It's not my cup of tea. Sorry. I mean, I know people love it. Good for them. I'm not telling you what to wear. I don't care for Sauvage. That's not my cup of tea. To each his own. But I also don't care what other men smell like. So, however people. Yeah, I would agree. I think George Dustin Moore said he prefers Paradise, which is also, I guess, French for paradise, over the OG Angel shares. Yeah, I think it's sexier. I think, it has that raspberry jammy feel to it, makes it a sexier night out fragrance by easily. Oh yeah, I appreciate it. Sounds like it's a good pickup. I mean, it is a good pickup. If you want to pay retail $275 because although you have 50 plus fragrances, you feel a need to have it now, it's your money. Do what you do. Do what you do. It's your money. I'm not going to tell you how to spend your money. Do what you do. I'm not going to do that. You can do what you want to do. I'll be patient till January, February. It'll show up on Joma Shop for like $190. And then I'll get it. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get it at $190 on the Facebook group for $190. That's my entry. $195 maybe at most. That's my entry. When I see it for that price, I'm grabbing it. I'm grabbing it. It is a good fragrance. I want to add this. It's just easy to wear. And I love it. Okay. I got y'all. Fruitiness. And I probably should be doing this in the later part of the dry down. So let me just do this semi-editing thing real quick. It's going to be weird because I'm talking to y'all, but I'm in my head. But as I'm letting this dry down a little bit, the fruity sweetness almost comes off. This comes off the way I wish Frappin 1270 would wear. This is almost what Frappin wanted to be. That's what this is to me. It's that fruitiness you get from Frappin 1270, but for most of us who own that fragrance, you know, it doesn't have a lot of projection. It wears closer to skin, and it doesn't last that long. Great smelling fragrance, but doesn't last that long. Angels Share on the rocks wears the way Frappin 1270 should have wore, and it's popping off of skin way more than it should have wore. So this is a really good release from the house. It's solid. When you're talking about sales, mass appealing, giving people something that's unique and sexy, I think Kilian nailed it out. But again, I'm going to let this dry down a little bit more. I will come back to it and give my thoughts as it's doing what it's doing. But yeah, this is it's almost giving me like but different, a better Frappin 1270. Easily. Like, if you love that fragrance, you'll love this fragrance. If you love that fruity. Roger's Lost in Paris, Fragrance du Bois, Voyage in Paris smells similar. Fragrance du Bois has a better price. I don't know if that's a question, or I don't own the Fragrance du Bois Voyage in Paris. It's never been a fragrance I've been interested in picking up, but I do have Lost in Paris. Now, I haven't been much of a gourmand kind of person. I don't know if I'm going to revisit my gourmands this winter because I feel like I haven't worn Italica or Lyra in like 3 years. And those are just neck nibbling fragrances. But I've been on ouds. 1 year, I wore like straight ouds. And compliments was coming crazy. The year after that, I think last year was my tobaccos. I wore a ton of tobaccos like all year round. And with a few oud fragrances sprinkled in, I wore a ton of tobaccos. So that's what I was in the mood for. The year before that, I think it was leather. I went on a leather spree. All I wanted to do was walk out the house and smell like leather. This year, I don't know what I'm in the mood for. I don't know what I'm in the mood for. When the time comes, I'll see what I'm in the mood for, but I'm always in the mood for oud. I think I might be wearing a lot of cherry fragrances this year, but it's only like 5 cherry fragrances I really want to wear. And it's only one of them that I don't own, and that's cherry oud. And I will have that in the next 60 days, give or take. Cherry oud from Guerlain will be, I've been putting that off for like a year. That will be in my wardrobe. Just because I love the oud, the rose, in the way that cherry kind of with the smokiness of the oud. I just like it, but I also like oud. So that's going to kind of be in my wardrobe. And then I have a few others, but I don't know if I want to name them because I just might do a video on that. So there's no point in like putting out that content without it being content. A few more things, and then I'm going to go into my weekly rotation. and I'll do my thing. Let me see. I've really been liking sandalwood right now. Yeah, sometimes I just get into particular notes that I just want to wear. Let me see. Look like they apparently just got Panador, Swedish Wood, Ooh, Green Apple. Apparently, like Frederick Mall's Promise. Promise, bro. So Promise is wild. So I like Promise, then some days I don't like Promise. And I'll tell you why. Promise, I think overall is great fragrance, but they overdid it with Cypriol. They like overdid it with Cypriol. And I'm not the biggest Cypriol lover, right? But one thing I like about Promise, when I really get into my boozy bag, it gives, I always say Promise is apple brandy on the rocks. I mean, apple brandy's, Kilian's apple brandy's mature sibling. Because when you really start smelling that, it's almost like drinking Four Roses or something. Four Roses uses a lot of apple in their bourbons. It just has this apple flavor. A lot of Four Roses have this apple floral kind of thing. So when I start smelling that Cypriol, it almost comes off like this oud accord, really like charred wood, earthy kind of thing going on. But the other thing I like, so it gives me this like boozy apple bourbon kind of thing, right? So that's one thing I like about, but I have to be in the mood for that. Another thing I like about Promise is depending on when I wear it and what the temperature is, I get something different from it. I've worn Promise in the high heat. In the apple, in the rose, just blossomed, right? And then I wore it in the cooler wear, and then those earthy nuances just popped off of my skin a little bit better. Promise is a fragrance I only do about 3 to 4 sprays because I don't want to smell it a lot. I just want wafts of it. And I find it to be sexy then. Where do I normally like to wear Promise? If I'm going somewhere to a cigar lounge, Promise is king in those environments for me because I'm already smelling tobacco. I'm drinking bourbon. So those earthy nuances in my clothing that I'm smelling just blends well with the environment of cigar smoke. It blends well. So when matching your fragrances with environment, I find Promise in those arenas to rock well. Another place I like to rock Promise, if you want to wear it on a date. Now, with a date, I wouldn't do that as a first date. I actually wouldn't wear Promise on a date unless the woman who you're going on a date with have told you that she likes Promise. So your wife actually says that's one of her favorite fragrances. But any place where the lights are dim, I don't know why, but I just it gives me this vibe. So I like it dim. So you go to a nice restaurant, like I know, and I'm not saying these are like 5-star restaurants, but I'm picturing the environment for those of you who have been on it. So I'm gonna talk about these restaurants on different levels to kind of paint the picture for you. So think Cheesecake Factory. At night, Cheesecake Factory, for those who that's your budget, it has a really dim kind of situation. It's really sexy in Cheesecake in the grand scheme of things. It's really sexy in there. It's like really dim. It's not too loud in there. That kind of environment, or like a Maggiano's, they keep it dim in there. They don't have it really, really super bright in there. Then there's other restaurants like I know it's a steakhouse in DC. I can't. Oh my goodness. Prime. I can't think. It might come on the back of my head, but there's a steakhouse in DC, like near the cathedral that has this really good like environment. Just like it's really, really dim. It's not super bright. It's a lot of warm lighting. I just think that's sexy. You're drinking red wines and it just matches the environment. But again, I like to wear and match my fragrances with clothing environment. So if I'm wearing all black leather, things like that, then I'll like to wear darker fragrances. It's like matching. It's like I wouldn't wear white socks in an all black outfit. Those white socks will just pop if your leg goes up too high. So let's go ahead and get into it, and then we'll go back into the fragrance, and then I'll go back to answering some questions. So if you have questions for me and I missed it, circle back after I finish doing my weekly rotation part of the video. Then we will get into questions, answers, and elaborate on a couple of topics real quick, and then we're gonna be in and out. So for the week of August 25th of 2025, I had a weekly rotation. My weekly rotation is what I wore on Monday through Sunday of that week. This week, I'm going to call the weekly rotation the best signature scent tobacco money can buy. That's all I wore all this week. What is that DNA? Well, to me, the best signature scent, most wearable tobacco that you can wear is from Ormond Jane. That Mont Tobacco DNA, to me, is the most masculine, versatile, wearable signature scent tobacco that you can wear. Well, I own just about every fragrance from that DNA, from that house, and one that isn't in that house. And I'm going to tell you how I wore them, and I rank them that way. So what I wore on Monday is my least favorite, but I love them all. What I wore on Monday is my least favorite. What I wore on Sunday is my favorite. So not only is this my weekly rotation, this is me ranking the DNA. So with no further ado, let's go ahead and get with number 7, even though it's number 1. I don't know how to name that, but we'll call it number 7. So my least favorite of DNA, which is number 7, we're going to go with Mont Tobacco Verano. So with Verano, this is the fresher of the DNA. What you get here, the most dominant note you get in Verano is the grapefruit. You get the ambroxan. You get the iso-E. You get the sandalwood. You got a little bit of powdery florals, like with the violet and the magnolia. You get that tea in here. But to me, the tea isn't as pronounced on my skin as it is in a few of the other DNAs of this. But it's just my least favorite because somebody has to be number 7. Somebody has to rank there, right? But this is just a great, to me, you can wear this year round. Even though it has that bright grapefruit citrus effect, in my personal opinion, the whole entire DNA is wearable. But at number 7, that's Verano, the fresher. We'll call this the fresh one. Coming in at number 6. Number 6, and this is what I wore on Tuesday. This is the one I call the fun one. This is the playful, flirtatious, fun version of the DNA. And to be honest, it really shouldn't be in this DNA. If I'm going to be honest with you, this fragrance shouldn't even be in this DNA. It should not even probably carry the Mont Tobacco name because it goes so far left in the extremists. If it's going to be a Mont Tobacco, this is the rebellious child. This is the child where the entire family are Washington Commanders fans, but he's the one knucklehead that's born and raised in DC who wants to be a Dallas Cowboy fan. And he doesn't want to be them because they're winning. It's because he's anti-Commanders. He's that kid in the family. You know who it is. And this is going to be Rio. Now, what you get in Rio is this takes that Lamari Porthole, God of Fire, Mango DNA, and then adds just a little bit more woods. But the tobacco in here just adds this dry woodiness to it. But this is all about the fruits. Now, what I will say is, to me, when it comes to the sweet mango DNA, that really sweet mango DNA, if I'm going to say pound for pound, in my most humble opinion, you can disagree. This is the more realistic better of that mango sweetness, don't mean you need to run out and go buy this. But just that particular note, I find this to be the best, most realistic of the sweetness. This has that caramel in it the same way Porthole does, but it doesn't go too like sweet. And that's what I like about this fragrance is, and it might be the tea in here that's adding this calming, breezy kind of effect to it, along with the ambergris. But this is just, although it has these fruity notes like orange, bergamot, mango, ambroxan, caramel, and pineapple, and these just sweet fruit notes, it didn't get sticky when I wore this summer, and it didn't get sticky when I wore this on Tuesday. Just a fun wear. I'm glad I have it in my collection. Do I think it needs to be in the tobacco DNA? No, they should have just named this something else, in my most humble opinion. But since it's here, it's going to be my number 6 favorite from the line, and mostly because it shouldn't have been in the DNA, and that's what I wore on Tuesday, and that's Rio. What I wore on Wednesday. So on Wednesday, what I wore to me is the most masculine of all the DNAs. This has where all the other DNAs use this suede, which suede is a leather, but it's more of a supple leather. If anybody's went into a leather shop, suede just smells and feels different than like a cowhide leather or, things of that nature. This uses leather. It has the woods in there. Sure, in the mid, you get a little bit of florals. I think oak moss might be in here too. So it's a little bit woody. To me, it has that freshness, but the DNA is just probably the most masculine of the DNA. And on Wednesday, what I wore is Aruba. Aruba. That's what I wore. Now, the screen, because the lights and it's kind of shiny, but I wore Aruba. Now, this one is the most masculine of the bunch. I think this is more base heavy than the other ones. It's just, but it's so good. This is a man's fragrance. Like if you say, I want a man masculine, I want that man, that I want to walk into a room. I want that power tie. So for those who wear suits, you got the power tie. It might be a red tie, but that's just that power tie. When you wear it, you walk into a room with a little confidence, masculine. That's what I get from Aruba. To me, that leather, that oak moss, especially in the autumn, it kind of almost makes it, during autumn, it makes it somewhat my favorite of the DNA. Like I would reach for this the most. As it gets cooler, I'm going to reach for this more than probably any of the other DNAs. I'm going to reach for it more. But when I'm ranking them, I think pound for pound, just overall, is not my favorite of the DNA. But 7, 6, this is my 5th favorite of the DNA, and this is what I wore on Wednesday, and that's Aruba. I know there's going to be some people who disagree, and that's okay. All right, 7, 6, 5. Okay, what I wore on Thursday. What I wore on Thursday is my 4th favorite of the DNA, and this is just the DNA that turned me out. I don't have to prolong it. This is probably the most balanced of the DNA. It's just balanced to me, and that's Intensivo. Intensivo. If you can see the other fragrances, you can't, they're not see-through bottles, but I put a dent in all of these. I really love this DNA. I've enjoyed this DNA, and Intensivo is one that it's just balanced, man. It's absolutely balanced. It has that, you get everything you get in the top. So you get that cooling, like mountain air kind of thing. It's very icy. This is what I wish when you start talking about Kilian's Angel Share on the Rocks or any fragrance on the rocks, and they say you want something cooling. This is what they should be trying to achieve, but they didn't hit it well. This is cooling. You have that tea, which just that tea and those florals, I believe magnolias in the middle, rounds it out. Then you have ambergris in the base with some ambroxan. You have this supple suede. This is probably just the most balanced. It's probably the one I would introduce most men to, especially if you don't like that rumble tumble leather. Although I think Aruba is the most masculine, I think this is the most just overall balanced. It's not too sweet up top. It's fresh. It's not too floral in the mid, although they have florals, and it's not too base heavy with the suede, the Tonka, the ISO E Super, the Ambroxan. This is one I just think it is a Gerber tool. It is a multi-tool. You can do a lot of things with this, and it's not too smoky. Just has a hint of smoke, but not too smoky. Now, that hint of smoke you got to be careful if you're wearing this on a first date. This would be something you wear to work, and then you go to happy hour and you're sitting at a bar. Yeah, you wear something like this. You're going to be in a suit, you wear something like this. Jeans and t-shirt, I mean, you can wear what you want to wear, but this wouldn't be my go-to fragrance for that. But again, to me, I call this the balanced child. This is the child that failed a little bit, did okay, right in the middle. This is a C grade. And this is my fourth favorite, and this is what I wore on Thursday, and that's Intensivo. My third favorite, and this is what I wore on Friday. This is my third favorite of the DNA. Now, the beauty about owning all these DNAs is the ability to wear them. Like, I've owned these for some time. I've worn these a lot. And the more you wear fragrances, the more you can identify differences in what makes them special. It's like having kids. They both came from, if you got multiple kids from the same woman, they both came out your sperm, her womb, but they different. You have different kids. They look different. They might have different personalities, different attitudes, different interests. You can raise them the same. They just have y'all DNA. Y'all both you have the mother DNA, the father DNA, but it's different. It's a different kid, and you can't explain it. But when you've been around them, you can tell it different, like twins or having triplets. People who have triplets, they can tell the difference between those kids. Most people can't, but those parents, they can tell a difference. And this is the difference between owning a fragrance and smelling a fragrance. When you own it, these are your triplets. You can smell the difference. And with that, my third favorite is going to be from the house of Boudicca, and that's Night of Love. Night of Love. Now, I've seen videos of these. Like, once I own it and I had my own thoughts on this fragrance, I was okay watching videos because nobody's opinion was going to sway my opinion on this. But the beauty I love about Night of Love, people would say Night of Love is a clone. Yes, I understand why they say that. They say Christian Provenzano clones everything. Bro, this is so far away from Montbach. This is so far away from all the other ones I'm going to talk about. It is like it's different. I don't even know if I really want to call it a clone. Just because it has the same build or the same frame, I don't know if I really want to call this a clone. Inspiration, sure. Clone, it is different. And what makes this special and different is this raspberry, strawberry nuance that you won't get in any of the other. You will not get in any of the other DNAs, which makes it different within itself. It's like having you got quadruplets and one of your kids has blue eyes. One of them just has blue or green eyes. Everybody else has brown eyes. One has blue or green eyes. That kid is going to stand out. It don't matter if they look alike. They got the same scars, the same teeth, the same eyebrows, same mannerisms. but this kid has blue eyes or green eyes. That's what this is. And that red berry this is fruitier. This is fresher than the other ones. This is probably one of the most fresh of all the DNAs. Like just citrus heavy, sweet, fresh up top, slightly jammy. This is the flirt. This might, what did I call it? I call it the Rio, the fun one. This is the flirtatious one. This is the one that if I'm going to wear any of the DNAs on a first date, I'm going on a first date. I want to smell masculine. I want to smell appealing. I want to flirt. This is the flirtatious one. That fruitiness up top with the tea, with the magnolia, the way, excuse me, the way Christian Provenzano uses magnolia in his fragrances, from blue sapphire to all his fragrances, to Hanuman, it is special. The way he used it is special, and he did his thing with this. As somebody who owns them all, I'm telling you, side by side, there's a difference. You can tell the difference between your triplets. I can tell the difference. And that's Night of Love, my third favorite from the DNA, the flirtatious one. My second favorite from the family, from the tobacco family, my second favorite. This one was Love at First Sniff. Love at First Sniff. This one is fruity up top. This is almost like it goes into a blue fragrance. It almost transfers into a semi-blue fragrance. And that's weird, but it has this combination of, like, if you took the Mont Tabac Intensivo and you gave it a little bit of imagination with a little bit of Meteor, you would get this fragrance in like the most simplistic way. No, you can't blend those fragrances and get this fragrance, but in the most simplistic way, that's how I would describe it. Now I'll get into it. And that's Cuba. Cuba. This was running pound for pound with my favorite from them all. Up top, this is top heavy. Now this one is top heavy, top and mid heavy. This one has this bergamot, mandarin orange, almost the way most like a Meteor wears, but not really. But it's this almost creamy citrus orange thing. I feel like orange is the most dominant player in the back, and the bergamot lays in the background. I feel like the orange really plays here. Fresh, sweet, extremely fruity. That tea is where this, like, it's like they threw a little bit of imagination or a little bit of like Neptune's trident in here, just like this little hint of like green tea in there. Suede, that tonka, I feel like sandalwood. Oh man. This is just like the easygoing kid. This is like the superstar to me. If I'm being honest, this is like the kid who excelled in like sports. He was like the kid you like, oh yeah, that's gonna be the kid that's gonna make us some money. They gonna get us out the projects. This is that kid. It's just, oh, man. Arguably, I could have wore this on Sunday as my favorite of the DNA. It's just so good. It's like taking the Mont Tabac DNA and making it blue with this tea. The tea really shows up more than any of the other ones. I feel like I get the tea in this, which when I smell it more and more, I'll be like, it's like this hint of imagination, but not really, but it's just kind of like lingers there. I like it. And that's Cuba That's my second favorite of the DNA and what I wore on Saturday. I see we have like 179 people in here. Please, y'all showing me love. Y'all always show up because that's my average number. Please hit the like button, man. It ain't much. Y'all clearly like watching the content. Whether y'all want controversial content or whatever, you hear, you stay here. Like the video. I don't ask for much. I ain't asking for money. I ain't asking for super chats. If you give them, great. But all I'm asking for is the like button. Okay, this is what I wore on Sunday. This is my favorite of the DNA. Unfortunately, I really hate mentioning it because it's discontinued. You really can't find it. But in the event that you come across somebody in a group selling it, I at least want to tell you what I get from it and what it smells like. And this is Floor. This originally, I think, was in a green Floor. This is, I think, originally was in a green bottle. I think it was a Fordham Mason release exclusive. And then it came out briefly. And then I think this might have been Ivory. Ivory is the only one I don't have, and I'm still hunting for that. Even if it's like a re-release of the other ones, of one I already have, I just still want Ivory because I want to compare it to them. But what I like about it, Floor, is this is just your refined. This, if anybody watch my content, you know I love florals. And I definitely love that rose. This is about the mid white florals. Up top, you get fresh. This is all about the florals, powdery florals. You get all aspect of florals. You get some sweet, some green. I believe some jasmines in here. This is the one, contrary to popular belief, this is the one that get me more compliments from women. This is the one. And maybe because the florals is slightly powdery, it's blooming. You wear this in spring, summer. I'm going to give this more burn because I got this earlier this year. I think I got this in spring. Earlier this year, I was able to come up on a bottle. This is one that just is, this is the one that when people smell it, because sometimes the tobacco and the other ones outside of the Boudicca one can get a little smoky, and depending on it, although you will smell like a man, it just doesn't get the compliments going. This is the, and probably because of the florals, this is the refined one. This is the more elegant, but it still has masculinity to it because that suede, that tonka, the sandalwood, the ISO-E, that tobacco, it's not too smoky. It's dry. It's woody. This is the one. My God, this is the one. I think rose is in here. This is a blooming floral tobacco scent that this is the one that gives me more compliments more than any of them. Any of them. I just think in the air, it's easier for women to digest and want to approach because it's not as brash or masculine. It just leaves this hint of seduction, this hint of allure. Like, why are you smelling floral, slightly powdery, yet fresh, yet masculine, yet you look masculine? This is the one. Unfortunately, I hate talking about it like this because you can't just go into a store and buy it. But that doesn't mean that you won't be online and may come across a bottle. So it is a bottle that if you love this DNA and you come across the bottle, it is worth the pickup. Even if you just want to pick it up, you be like, I don't really like it that much, and you sell it. To me, this is worth the pickup. It's my favorite from the DNA. It's my most complimented from the DNA. And I've worn all of these a lot. This is Floor. And this is my number one and what I wore on Sunday. So that, people, was my weekly rotation for the month of August 25th of 2025. This is my number 2 weekly rotation For those of you who are new here, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to tune in for the next video. Now, with that being said, let me get a sip. Let me see where we are. We're almost shy of 1 hour. Okay. So let me do my last video talk for Angel Share and we'll go. So it's been an hour since I first sprayed Angel Share on the rocks. It's been an hour. I'm going to see where this is at. And I think I'm pretty much ready to get my final thoughts on it. Now, again, this is first impression. Take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt. With all things, sample for your own. Figure it out for yourself. That's always the number rule, and trust your own nose. So, easy going, sweet. That sweetness is it's almost like, I don't really want to say it's linear per se, but I'm feeling like that this Tonka vanillic, slightly amber. It's like this amber accord, this sweet amber accord is coming up. It's coming up. It's this sweet amber accord that's just very like balsamic. Oh, bro. Okay. 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 This is bottle worthy for me. This is bottle worthy for me. This will come into my fragrance wardrobe. This is bottle worthy. On first impressions, if I was going to rank on first impressions, keep in mind, I don't own Paradise, but I did a first impressions on Paradise. If you haven't seen it, check it out. I'm giving you my first impressions on this. And I've owned Angel Share since it first came out. If I was going to rank these, I think I'm ready to give a premature ranking. Angel Share on the rocks is number one. It's number one. I will tell you why after I finish ranking them. Angel Share Paradise is number two. And Angel Share, the OG, is number three. Why is that, you say? All three are good. All three will get you compliments. The Angel Share OG, the original, is probably one of Kilian's most complimented fragrances they've put out. Well, up there, because Straight to Heaven Extreme is amazing. And Musk Oud is amazing for me. But that particular DNA is probably one of the most easy to wear DNAs. Paradis takes that and adds this jammy, sweet fruitiness to it with this rosy raspberry kind of thing that makes it more exotic. Paradis is more exotic, more enticing, more allure, seduction. And I think that makes it number two, but it's very limited because in the middle of the day, I wouldn't necessarily reach for that if it's like 90 degrees outside. So it has very low utility, which is why I rank that at number two, which is why I also rank the OG at number three. Paradis is better than the OG. Both have low utility, which means I have to be very almost niche on how I'm going to wear it and where I'm going to wear it and when I'm going to wear it. Angel Share on the rocks is more wearable. This came out in the most perfect time, which is autumn. Let me start there. I think this shines in autumn. Why do you say that? If you live in the Northeast, this is where in the morning it's cool. In the afternoon, it heats up. At night, it's cool. If I went outside now, 9-ish, 10 o'clock, I probably can put a sweatshirt on and go outside because it's probably like 67 degrees outside right now. This is going to do numbers. It is nothing about this I do not like. Now, is it mind blowing? No. And that's because Angel Share already came out and it shares the DNA. But the way it's coming off of skin, I feel like I should get it's coming off skin the way the OG came off skin. So I should get 8 hours. I should. That's an estimate. Again, take that with a grain of salt. This is my first wearing. I should easily get 8 hours on this. I should easily because I get that with the OG. At least I do, right? That sweetness, it has uniqueness to it. Although I said it gave me sweetness like what Frappine wanted to be, what it really tried to be, but it failed in a performance realm. This is giving me that. It's giving me fresh, slightly unique, sexy because it's boozy, mass appealing because of the sweetness, utility because of the freshness, which doesn't, I think, put it in this. I can only wear it in the winter cap. On a scale of 1 to 10, I give it an 8.5. I rank all of them at an 8.5. All of them at an 8.5. Again, I'm not mind blown by it at all, but it's really good. But I'm not mind blown. I've had fragrance I've been mind blown by. It's not mind blowing. It's easy to wear. It's good. If Angel Share Paradis and Angel Share the OG never existed, I would be mind blown. If it never existed, I would probably be mind blown. But it does exist. And I can't act like I never smelled those before. So, with that said, that's my first impression, final thought on Angel Share on the rocks. I think this is one I know this is one that's going to end up in my collection. $275, $285 with tax and shipping and stuff. I don't want to pay that. I'm going to be patient enough to wait on a discounter because they should hit around $195 at discounters. $195 is my entry price for how I would like to add that to my wardrobe. I have the $275. I just don't want to spend it because in 2 or 3 months later, it'll show up for $195. And I like saving money and I prefer for y'all to save money, but it's your money and I'm not your financial advisor. So do with that information as you see fit. With that being said, hit the like button, subscribe, follow for more. If that's what you came here for, peace. Okay, now let's get to just talking. We're going to answer some questions. If you have questions, we're going to get into it. I finished that, so it'll be an easy edit for me, give or take. Let me see. My bro, I thought you already got a sample or a bottle of this new one. I don't know if that was for me, but I'm never in a rush to buy Kilian. Can you speak on the scent Bodicea Rebellious? All right. Is it a winner? So Rebellious is really, really, really sweet. Extremely sweet. Right? So that's the first thing. It's like super sweet. I get great performance on that. I like that fragrance, but sometimes it's too sweet, and I don't like too sweet fragrances. I don't know if because at my age, I just don't want to be smelling like, I'm not going to say it's juvenile, but it's just kind of sweet. It's like super sweet. And it can be headache inducing. What I get is, think of this ambery, fruity, sweet, jammy rose experience wrapped in suede. This supple suede with some woody nuances here and there, but the suede, the woods, the sweet ambers, and the jammy rose and fruit combo makes that a very good, alluring fragrance. Women love sweet fragrances. I find that women love sweet fragrances. I think sweet fragrances work. But I don't wear it. I don't reach for it as much as I would carbon sapphire. I don't reach for it as much as I would carbon sapphire. Carbon sapphire makes me feel like a man. You know what I'm saying? It builds my confidence because it's part of wearing. I'm stepping out the house. I'm in a leather motorcycle jacket with the turtleneck, with the black jeans, with the black, with the black boots, and the brown Scully. Like I'm feeling like him. I'm feeling different. You know what I'm saying? I don't necessarily want that DNA. I want blue sapphire DNA. And I still need to wear blue sapphire supercharge. I smelt it that one time. I need to, sometime this week, I guess. Tune in for next week's weekly rotation, next Monday's weekly rotation, and we'll see my final thoughts if I went and got a bottle of that, or if I'm going to pick up a bottle of blue sapphire supercharge. Because after that first spring, I've been like hiding that from myself because I got other things I need to get. I mean, in a few months, and I'm saving. I like the budget for fragrance, so I'm saving for that Bergdorf Goodman exclusive from Raja. That's champagne. I'm saving for that. That's $1,000, bro. Yeah. I don't do paying for. I don't do. You know what I'm saying? I don't do credit card. If I can't pay cash for it, I don't get it. That's my thing. I'm not paying interest on a fragrance. And people say, well, you can do karma or whatever is paying for. Cool. If that's what you want to do, cool. I don't like owing people money. It makes my skin crawl. I'm not a fan of owing people money. And it's just the discipline of, if I want it, I can pay for it, cash. And if I can't, then I don't need it. It's a discipline thing for me. I think when you create certain habits, when it comes to spending, when it comes to discipline, I think it will help you gauge. That's why I can smell a fragrance like this that I really like, and I'm not in a rush to get it because I have discipline. One, I know if I wait, I can save $100. I like saving money. I have a couple hundred fragrances. Why do I need to rush to add another one that I'm not going to wear every day? I'm not. I'll probably end up wearing Night of Love or Floor more this winter than I would this anyway. If I'm going to be totally honest with you, I probably will. So why am I rushing to get something that I can get for $100 off in a couple of months? So that's my thoughts. I know I answered your question, but I kind of went on a rant. Hopefully that helped you out. But with all things, sample, figure out on your own. Let me see. A couple more questions. It's already, Sephora, you can go buy. People got bottles now. You can go buy this Angel Shares now. You can buy it now. I don't know why. I never understood the mindset, So it's a couple things with me. I don't like owing people money. It might be I feel like when you owe somebody money, they own you. I don't like owing nobody nothing. And no, I ain't been to prison or nothing where I took somebody's cigarettes and they feel like I ain't been locked up, but I just don't. Maybe I come from a set of OGs. You don't want to owe people even if you get fronted something, you want to pay it all. You don't want to owe nobody money, bro. I feel like when you owe people money, they control you, and I don't like another man controlling me. And so I don't like owing a lot of people money, and I don't like having poor credit. So I look at money different. Because it might come a time, like, for example, let's say my credit score was in the 600s or like 500s, right? What if I came on some financial hardship, some financial times, and I really needed a car or I needed something really big, and I'd be like, shit, my car just broke down. I got to buy another car. Fuck, all right. God, now I go get a loan for another car, but guess what? Now I'm gonna get a higher interest on the car, which means the car I paid for $20,000 over a six-year period or a 5-year period, however long you would decide to extend that loan so you can get a cheaper payment. I'm paying more for the car than if I had a better credit and I got the same car. I'm paying less for it because I got a better loan. You don't know what hardship's gonna come up. I plan on refinancing my house. I got this house built at 7%. 7% interest. I'm paying a lot, bro. I'm paying a lot at the price. But 7%. But I also live, when you get in a house, something that's going to have equity, right? Equity. Fragrances don't have equity. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. Take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, but this is how I view things. You can adopt this or not. I'm not going to tell you what to do. But for me, houses have equity. So I look at a house different than the way I would look at a car, or I would look at fragrances or anything else I would buy. So I marry the house, I date the interest rate. I marry the house, I date the interest rate. When you're shopping for a house, again, I'm not a realtor, I'm not your financial advisor. When shopping for a house, you get the house you want. I think Jason, my admin, he is a realtor, I believe. So he'll co-sign or whatever. When you're going for a house, you want the house you want at the price you want. That's the goal. I want the house. The win is getting the house. Whatever you pay for it, did you get the house that you want? Cool. What's the interest rate? Can I afford the house at this interest rate without being broke? If the answer is yes, cool, because interest rates go up and down. Interest rates will never be COVID interest rates again. We're never going to see 2% interest rates. We're not. But I got out of my other house, I had like a 2.7% interest rate. And I just built this house, which is 10 times more expensive, at a 7% interest rate. So I'm paying thousands of dollars more than I should, because that was and I'm talking about I got good credit, but that's what the interest rate was. It was 7%, 6.85 or something like that. Well, interest rates, I think right now are 6.06 or something today. I don't know. But I know a year ago, the Fed said within the next 3 years, they were going to lower the interest rates. So, for example, my interest rate, and I'm not going to go into pay. Let's just say if I can, my entry point for refinancing, because I want to refinance the house, which also means I don't need to be running up anything on my credit, because they're going to run your credit. They're going to see what you're buying, what you're paying off, how late you're paying. All these things matter. If I can get my interest rate down to 5.75, 5.65, I think that's my entry point to really, depending on what the feds and such, studying the feds and reading the research, if it's going to keep dipping or if it's going to mellow at 5.75, I can save $1,000 a month, over $1,000 a month, by just that interest bump down. So imagine if you keep buying shit, you don't pay off your bills, you got poor credit, what you're buying at a certain price and getting loans for, and I'm getting at a certain price for getting loans for, over a 4-year period, I ain't paying a lot less than you are over time. That matters to me. I like money. That matters. So I don't like owing people money. And I'm really huge on I need good credit. When my credit goes below an 800, I start getting hives. I'll be like, okay, what I need to pay off, who I need to own. That means my debt to credit ratio is off. Now, if it's super low, that's probably because you ain't paying bills on time. You're paying bills late. You have over 70 to 80% of your max is being used up. So you need to pay that down. But I'm not a financial advisor. You figure that out. Go pay for one and they will teach you how to do that. But I'm not paying for somebody to fix my credit, because it's simple. Pay your goddamn bills. It's simple. Pay your bills. Pay them on time. And stop running them up. If you got a $10,000 credit card and you owe over $5,000 on that credit card, you're fucking yourself, bro. But y'all keep buying even though you have that. When you could have took the $300, $400 for the Kilian you was going to buy, and you would have paid that towards what you already was paying, you can start chopping that down. And if you're paying bare minimum, you're fucking yourself. But I'm not a financial advisor, bro. I am not. I don't get paid to be one. You need to go pay one and figure it out. I'm not giving you that advice. Figure it out. But I might be dropping some jewels. Do your own research. And if it works for you, cool. If it doesn't, cool. But when you find out that this person has good credit and they're paying over time, y'all got the same car at the same time. He got a 3.25, you're paying 6.5. And when y'all pay it off, he paid a lot less for his car than you did. Cars break down. Things happen. People get sick. You might need to get a loan. you're going to find yourself screwed and paying more than what you should have been paying, all because you rather chase the new fragrance instead of paying your goddamn bills. But I don't care. Ain't my problem. It's your problem. I'm just trying to drop, as an OG, I'm just trying to drop some gems. So we're moving on. We're moving on from that. We're moving on from that because I don't want to harp on that. But it's a lot of young people. I've had enough inbox messages where I think people enjoy these conversations that I'm having. Even if you see this and you don't want to hear this from me, there's enough people in my inbox that's saying, man, you really made me change the way I think about just spending money or life in general in a positive way. And that's all I want to do. And if I affect one person and they better their life, cool. I just think all this is an addiction. I think all this is a game. And I think most of it is bullshit. You know what I'm saying? I think most of it bullshit. If it wasn't for content, if I walked away from this, I probably only need about 10. Only need about 10, bro. 10. Easy. As I've always said, this gets me compliments. This gets me compliments. They get the same compliments. A person's going to smell this and say, you smell amazing. A person's going to smell this and say, you smell amazing. How many times could vary depending on the situation I'm in the environment I'm in. I might actually choose this over this, even though I like this more. I might just choose this. And there's a reason why I would choose this. Depending on, is this daytime or is it at night? What kind of, is this more formal? I like this in a more formal environment. I like this in a more fun environment. This is fruitier. I'm going to a festival. I'm going to be outside. I'm wearing 8 sprays of this. I'm not wearing this to a festival. I'm not wearing this to the 420 festival, bro. I'm not wearing this. And this gets love, but I'm not wearing that there. If anything, I wear this if I had to wear that DNA. Or I might wear Rio in the grand scheme of it. That's what I'll probably wear. Rio. 10 outside, 10 to 15 sprays of Rio, maybe, give or take. That may be too much. I'm over-exaggerating, but you get my drift. Environment matters. But it's still the same compliments. No one's giving me blowjobs in the back of the car. I'm wearing this, but they're just saying, oh, you smell good. This gives blowjobs, this doesn't. Oh, I need to have more of this. It doesn't work that way. It's the same shit. You smell good. Thank you. You smell good. Thank you. So why do you need rush to get every damn thing? It's pointless, bro. It is pointless. You will never satisfy what you're looking for. So I make everybody make smart choices. I'd rather people have a nice solid collection and have a good credit score and be like, bro, I was able to buy that house I've been dying to get. Because a good credit also tells you how much house you can get. It's a difference between I can only afford $800,000 home to I can afford a $1.1 million home based on interest rates. It can vary. In state taxes, of course, but it can vary. Rates go down to 2.5. What you could have paid, what you can afford to own at 800, you probably can get $1 million home for it at 2.5 interest. It's the difference between an almost $9,000-$10,000 a month payment to 6.5. It matters, but they're going to run your credit and, figure it out. It's your life. You got to live it. You got to live it. You know what I'm saying? Some things. So let me harp on a few things from the live that some things, because I read some comments and I read some comments in Big Beard's video because he was streaming on that side too. And we'll talk about a couple of comments in the live. Here's my big thing. I think when it comes to content creation in general, I think with the bigger content creation gets, you have to be mindful on what you say and how you say it. Why do you think I always keep saying I'm not your financial advisor? You need to do your own research, because if anybody takes my advice and y'all lose some money or y'all do some shit, you're not going to sue me. What I say, I try to be very strategic in what I say and how I say it. If I say I don't like it, it's because, and I'll tell you why I don't like it, but I make sure that's more of an opinion based than a fact based. I think too many influencers get on mics, and there's no particular person in this, not the fragrance space. I mean, in general, Tasha K got in trouble for this with Cardi, and Candace Owens is going through this with France. You get on mics and you say any damn thing like shit is sweet. You say any damn thing. As fact. And there's gonna come a time people gonna start getting sued, and channels gonna start getting shut down. The bigger this thing gets. We're still in the baby stages of content creation in the grand scheme of it. Kind of. We're in the baby stages of like big money and content creation. I feel like we're still in the baby stages of it. But, I think an influencer almost got in trouble. I think the story, they said one fragrance company didn't have oud in their fragrance. They gave them a warning, smacked them. It's going to come a time companies ain't smacking you. They're going to hit you with the lawsuit and say, oh, you said this a couple times, run me some coin. Your channel's done. I almost wish companies would do that more. People be like, oh, bro, they don't never use nothing. Boom. Okay, we're going to take you to court. We're going to show that we use it. And because you said this, your channel's gone and we want some money. People will start being more mindful of what they say off on these mics. So when I say that, to circle back, I know a lot of stuff. One of the big things that we talk about when we talk about like clone fragrances and stuff is price, right? Price matters, and price points and money and dollars and stuff like this. I don't really get into why things cost what they cost. They just cost what they cost because they cost what they cost. I don't think people should be entitled. I'm also not a socialist. I'm not necessarily a capitalist, but I'm not a socialist. Well, I am kind of a capitalist. Yeah, I am kind of a capitalist. I'm not a socialist. I don't think people are entitled to non-essential things. I would like people see. I'm a libertarian, right? I'm a libertarian in the grand scheme. I don't care what people do. I don't care who you love, who you screw, and I don't like big government business. I don't like big government getting involved in everybody's shit. But I also don't care who you screw. But I also hate people who ain't financially responsible. So this is why I'm a libertarian. You know what I'm saying? So things cost what they cost. And I don't think people should be, I think just because you like a fragrance don't mean it should be affordable for you. I think, no, some shit in life costs. I would love to live on San Diego on the cliffs. Those homes are like $10, $20 million. I don't feel entitled to it. If I want to live there, I need to make the right investments, the right connections, get my money up, and then go buy it or hit the lottery. I don't think I'm entitled to that. I think if I want it, I should go get it. That's how I feel. Those are my thoughts and how I practice in real life. I don't think people are entitled to anything. I think if you want it, you should go get it. I think you should hustle, figure it out, go get it. However you got to get it. That's your choice. But I think if you want something, you should go get it. And when it comes to fragrances, I think there's too much entitlement. People think everything should be affordable for them. No, it shouldn't. Some things cost a certain price. And if this the price and you don't like it, cool. But I also ain't mad for you saying, all right, well, fine. I'll get something to smell like it for $40. Cool. I am in that camp. But see, I'm a libertarian. Cool. You should do that. But I think things are what they are. But I don't try to get into like as a factual thing where saying that this doesn't cost $1,000. There's a thing in business called overhead. I'm on my channel. I don't know how much it costs. And I don't ever want to be sued because I say, oh, this is only $200, and somebody sue you and say, okay, I can prove that it costs more than that. I'll see you in court. And you go up in court and say, well, my opinion. Nah, bro, it ain't gonna fly. That ain't gonna fly. If companies start doing that, that ain't gonna fly on these mics. It ain't gonna fly. And it's only gonna take a couple of people to get hemmed up. And I'm just gonna laugh. I'm gonna laugh in the grand scheme because I just think it's a lot of irresponsibility when it comes to podcasts and people with mics and saying anything. I just think I think people just get on, especially in a relationship space. They just get on mics and say anything about anybody. And I just think words like alleged and things should be used. You know what I'm saying? In verbiage. I think verbiage matters. I think it should be used. But I don't know how much this costs. But I also know there's some things luxury. A Seiko costs X amount of dollars. A Rolex costs X amount of dollars. Both tell time. Should Rolex be affordable? No. Go buy a fake Rolex if you really want it, or not, or buy Seiko or Fossil or whatever the case is. You know what I mean? I just think it's different prices, but you know, I know when it comes to these clones, Middle Eastern clones, and a lot of clones are yeah, people should say allegedly, Karen. I mean, it just should, or you just gotta be mindful on what you say. But like this fragrance is from I hate the maybe because I have some really good Middle Eastern fragrances, and I don't know if it's woke, if it's a woke thing in me that make me hate this terminology, but this thing that Middle Eastern is affordable is I don't it's like I don't like that distinction, because this is a Middle Eastern fragrance from Middle Eastern house, Abdul Samad Al Karash. This is Kalakasi Oud. Retail, I want to say it's like 2,500. This is a Middle Eastern house. So are they overcharging for this? I don't know. But that's the cost. I think outside of retail, you can probably get it from Q8 Perfector for what, 1,200. Somebody go on eBay and tell me how much Kalakasi Oud costs now. On eBay. It's only one person on eBay I will buy from Saudi Arabia. It's like Q8 Perfection, something, whatever. I can't think. I know it's handled when I see it. But this is retail like $2,500. So, but this is Middle Eastern. It's not cheap, bro. It's levels to all of this. Spirit of Dubai. This is Spirit of Dubai Oud. Fantastic. Ooh, this is animalic, Indian, all that. This is a 50 ml. This is a 50 ml. Retail, this is like 1,000, it's like 900 and some dollars. Retail is this overpriced. It's Middle Eastern. So why shouldn't this be $40 like every other Middle Eastern fragrance? Why is this the same price as European brands? Why? Why is that? It's a Middle Eastern fragrance house. It's a Middle Eastern brand. They have a whole bunch of notes. They have a company that comes from Nabil. They have $40 fragrances. So why is this the cost that it is? It ain't because the bottle don't make this $600. Why is this that much? I look at other things. Like, I think this is one of the best releases of the year. Y'all already know what it is. I talked about it a number of times. Desert Rain from Day 3 Fragrances. This is $175 for 50 ml. So if you made it into 100 ml, what's that like? You know what I'm saying? So if you bought this in 100 ml, in 100 ml, this is $350, right? If you got 100 ml of this is $350, right? That many, it's people who will review this fragrance. They will never get on the air and say this is overpriced. They won't do it. It's good. This is $350 if you got 100 ml. This is a 50 ml for like $175. Well, how much is Meteor? This is 100 ml. It's $350, $350-ish. But y'all say this is overpriced when they're really priced the same, price per ml. So how is this overpriced, but this ain't overpriced? I'm not saying that Mike should charge less for it. I think he should charge what he's supposed to charge for it, whatever that looks like. But they're the same price in the grand scheme. In the grand scheme, they're the same price. People will get this, rave, and will get a Louis Vuitton and say Louis Vuitton's overpriced. They're the same price in the grand scheme. Price per ml. It will. Roger Alt Luxe, one of my most expensive fragrances, right? Supposed to have real glow flakes in here. Allegedly, I don't know. I didn't buy it. I'm not going to get on here and say it's overpriced or whatever. I know the price is what the price is. But allegedly, they say the cost of the jasmine that was used in here is worth more than the gold flakes in here. The cost. There's levels to things. When you look at ouds, Thai oud, Vietnamese oud, Indian oud, but what kind of Indian oud? Kalakasi oud is Indian oud, but it's from the Kalakasi Mountains. But is it Mayan oud, or is it Mirror oud, or is it Kyra oud? Because that costs a little bit more than Thai oud, because Thai oud smells different from Cambodia. It's different. It's cost to be the boss. It's different prices for different things. Haitian vetiver from Africa, is it priced the same? I don't know. If you don't know, how can you say one's priced more than the other? Which Neroli did they use? Tuscan Neroli or Neroli from Gras? Where did the Neroli come from? How much was it a liter? I don't know. What's people's overhead? That's another question. What's people's overhead? Those Middle Eastern companies, how much are they paying their employees? Those clone companies. There's a reason some companies like Nike and stuff, they ship things to China to get work on, and they wouldn't open up shops in the U.S. You know why? Because in the U.S., they're going to have to pay employees in the factory $15 an hour. That's called overhead. So if I want to do a fragrance, I want to do it in the U.S., I want to have a factory, I got to pay everybody $50 an hour, I got to give them health care, got to give them benefits. Who's going to pay for that in the grand scheme? Me? No, it's going to come from the customer. But you know, there's an epidemic in the world where restaurants are failing right now. Restaurants are failing. In Washington, D.C., there's a lot of money. Restaurants are failing. You know why? Because when that minimum wage went up in certain laws where employers have to pay for the health care and things of this nature, minimum wage goes up. They got to pay for that. They still got to pay for the cost of food, that eggs, steaks, seafood all went up. But they've had customers for years who have visited the restaurant and they sold a burger for $25. A burger and fries always, for 20 years, a burger and fries cost $25.99. For years. A burger and fries cost $25.99. Just an example. $26 for a burger, some fries, and a drink. Well, now I got to pay my 5 employees at the register. I got to pay for this. My cost of food went up. If I turn around and I say, okay, well, I got to charge you $40 for this in order for me to make the same amount of profit, then customers would just flat out stop coming. They'd be like, bro, why am I paying $40? Everybody wants everybody to make an earnable wage, but nobody wants to pay the cost that it costs to do that. Now, I get it. Y'all gonna say, well, big corporations, Amazon made $1 billion. Yeah, everybody ain't Amazon. Everybody ain't Amazon. Everybody ain't making a couple of billion. There's small businesses that are trying to survive. There's small businesses trying to survive. You know what I mean? So who's going to pay that? So restaurants know they can't charge. They was just charging last year $26 for a burger and fries. For them to make the same turnaround money and give everybody the benefits, that's going to be, y'all going to eat that. They ain't going to eat that. We going to eat that as the consumer. Why you think every year fragrance cost goes up like $10 to $15? Every year. There's a price increase. People want people to get raises, but then companies are for profit. This is where my capitalism comes in. Oh, I'm in the business to make money. I'm not in the business for charity. I'm not making fragrances for charity. I want to make some money. I want to change my generational wealth by selling fragrances, ultimately. That's going to cost. What's my overhead like? What are they paying people in Dubai to make that? I don't know. In the American dollar, what are they paying them? I don't know. Are they paying them $15, $70 and $17 an hour US for 20 employees and still selling the fragrance for $40? I don't know. Are they paying them like $2 per the US currency or whatever? I don't know that answer. But I know overhead here might be different from overhead here. Mike initially was making all this stuff himself. Now he got a whole factory, employees, a store. That's overhead. Some things are going to go up. In a couple of years, I don't expect this same fragrance to be $175. Maybe he can pull it off. Maybe he can't. But if the more employees he have and the different things, this might go up to $225 at some point for 50 ml. It might. Shit happens. Cost of living goes up. You know what I'm saying? Peace, not so famous YouTuber. Peace, appreciate you. EQ, I have the same philosophy. I could love a fragrance and wait to get it on a good entry. Yeah, I'm not pressed to. I'm not pressed. Yeah, man. I see Jason put up there making six figures ain't what it used to be. I try not to. I try not to say that out loud because there's some people who never seen that, who never seen that. You know what I mean? I try to be mindful. I don't like to say that, but yeah, it's not the same. Your buying power making over 150,000 ain't the same that it used to be in back in the days. You can't even buy the same house that you could. You can't even buy the same house you could. You can't buy the same house now that you could have bought in 2016, 2017, 2015, 15, 16, 17. Houses was at a really good price. Rates were reasonable. Then 20 hit and rates dropped, but prices went up a little bit. Then they kept going up because the rates was down. So it's yeah, I mean, I don't like to say that it's, six figures ain't shit. You know what I mean? But I'll say depend on where you live. If I'm in Alabama, maybe Louisiana, maybe certain parts of the South, give or take. But if you live in Montclair, New Jersey, 100,000 ain't shit, bro. You bet 250, 225. You want to get a house? 225, bro. You make that? Combined family, 250 combined. So two people. You and your lady better make 125 pieces. If not, you don't qualify. Sorry. It's a house in Trenton somewhere. Like, I don't know. It's absolutely. Value is sociological. Yeah. But I did that in that video. Price is what you pay, value is what you get. Price is what you pay, value is what you get. But to say that, it's another Middle Eastern, Arabian oud. This set, Royal Oud, this set right here, this is a Tola, right? This is pure oud oil. This is a Tola. It might be a little bit over a Tola, which is 12 grams, I believe. This set combined retail, I think it's like 1,200. It's a Middle Eastern fragrance house. Why is this 1,200, but you can go to Arabian Oud and get fragrances like, Mondavi and a few others like 50, 60 bucks. Why is this 1,200? What is it that makes these 1,200? Is it the ingredients being used inside? It's levels to everything. Is it the ingredients? I don't know. Or are Middle Eastern companies cheating us too out of stuff? I don't know. I don't know. But there are levels to things. There's levels to watches. There's levels to cars. There's levels to houses. Perfumery is not exempt from there's levels to steak. Can you go in Sizzler and Outback and get dry aged Wagyu from there? No, you can't. And when you've been to a place where you can have dry aged Wagyu and that shit is buttery and melting your mouth, pause, you realize that's Outback shit is trash. That shit is mid. You'd be like, yo, I'll just cook my own steak, bro. I'll cook it. Why is it that this pour right here, this Hennessy Master Blend, right? Number 5. This is life for you. This is life lessons. And it seems like in the fragrance space, we forget about life, right? This is retail. I don't think they make it. I think this is the 2024 batch, number 5. So you got to wait for number 6. I'm hoping they drop number 6 in 2025. They haven't dropped it already because I need number 6. I missed out on 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I'm not going to overpay for it. This stuff is like fragrances. You can find a bottle and overpay for it, almost like the Jack Daniels 10, 12, and 14. If I was going to go to a whiskey bourbon spot, this is anywhere from retail, I think it was like 100, anywhere from like 99 to like 130 is what this bottle would have cost you, depending on where you get it from. This same pour at a bar, how much you think this pour gonna cost? This pour right here, how much you think this will cost? If you went out to a bar, how much you think they're gonna charge you? All they did was pour this in a cup the same way I did. How much you think it's gonna charge you? Yeah, easy, bro. It will probably be. It'll probably be more than 30. It'll probably be like 35, 40. If you in DC, if you in Arlington, you might pay like 30. If you in DC, you gonna probably pay like 50, depending on where you are. They be, bro, it's the whole thing on TikTok. They talk about, bro, we about to boycott DC because drinks are too damn much. They are going bananas charging what they charging. This same drink will probably cost me like $50. This same thing. So I'm not getting drunk off this. So if I get 2 pours of this, I bought a whole bottle of this. Are they overcharging? Yeah, possibly. Do we pay it when we go out? Yeah. Yeah, we do. Is it easier for me to go buy, a 16-ounce Wagyu from the grocery store than to go to a restaurant and have them prepared and cook it? Yeah, it's cheaper. But sometimes you pay for them doing it for you. It's just, this is where the libertarian capitalist in me comes out. The price is what the fucking price is. But if you don't want to pay that, don't pay it. Go buy a clone. Chanel is $275. You won't pay that? Go buy that. Bro, I'm telling you, bro, this might, depend on where you are, this might be $50, bro. I swear on everything, this might cost you $50. In DC, this might cost you $50. Virginia, 25, 27, this might, 25, 20. This, the Master's Blender, maybe like 30. 30 is what this will cost you. In DC, same bottle, 45. Just for this. And you taking somebody out on a date and you got to buy 2 of them? And I might just have to buy 2 just to get lit. That's why people got to come in and pregame and catch the Uber so you ain't drinking and driving. You got to pregame you got to be buzzed. Who want to go to a date? You get somebody a hug and you already smell like liquor. But you got to pregame. You be, girl, we pregaming. We catching Uber, like you need to have a few in you before we hit this spot because, golly. And then you want to date 2 and 3 people going out on dates all the time. That's like, yeah, bro, $50 for 2 drinks. That's $100 drink. And you ain't even bought her drinks yet. She wants some red wine or some purpose wine or some, oh my God, bro. That's like, oh, you can just in drinking alone, you can get to $175 to $200. That's like on the easy end. And you ain't even bought food yet. You going to a nice restaurant, let's just say on the cheap end, that might be like $130, $150. So you don't pay $200 in drinks, and y'all ain't drunk. $200 in drink, you ain't drunk. $175. So that's $270, $200. That's $375. $375. No, that $175 is cheap. Let's say $150. So that's $350 for a meal, and you ain't tipped yet. 20%. Bro, it's like $400. That's a $400 night, bro. Yeah, hey. And you want to date multiple people and go on dates, this is $400. That shit add up, bro. That's like every time you go out on a date, you be like, damn, bro, I just bought imagination. At least imagination to hang out for a month. It's going to take me a minute to go through 100 ml. Golly. Yeah, man. Got a pregame before you go out that joint, You know what I'm saying? Like, but my point is, man, is like in life, the price is the price. And I'm not going to tell you what it costs to Be it. Now, I will tell you this. I email a few popular perfumers. I inbox, sent some emails. I'm trying to get a few interviews. I'm attempting to get some interviews, and I'm going to have some real conversation with them. And I hope to talk about price, because overhead is going to be different for everybody. If I'm buying the materials and I'm making this particular fragrance out of my house and I'm blending it myself, it's going to cost a lot less than what it do if I got 4 or 5 employees. I'm not a charity worker, bro. I don't make fragrances for charity. It's still a profit business, a profit-based business. The same way with content creating. I know it sounds good for us to come on here and say, I do it for the love of the game. It sounds good, bro. It sounds real good. We're going to monetize that content, though. For the love of the game. Yeah, Kobe loved the NBA too. And I'm sure Micah Parsons loves football. He told Jerry Jones, eat it, and got paid. I'm sure he loves football. You know what I'm saying? What's a good price for Hasu? Anywhere from $525 to $625, probably. $525 to $625, anywhere in between. That's what you're gonna pay. Any Zodiac's that's what you're gonna pay for any Zodiac. Unless it's a discontinued Zodiac like Terrell, and then you paying $1,000, you going back retail for that $1,100, which was the original cost. You paying retail for that if you get a discontinued one. But I think anywhere from $525 to $625-ish, give or take, I think is a good price. I would like to be at the $550, $575 to $550 is kind of sweet spot. It's where I would like to be for that fragrance. That's personally where I would like to be for that fragrance. Keep them going before I end this joint. But yeah, man, I just think in life that. But I think one of my biggest, I don't really want to call it a beef with the space, and why I just be like, all right, well, I just need to be just a perspective is it's almost misguided a little bit, space, because here's how it goes. Meteor comes out. It's a popular Louis Vuitton fragrance. Everybody loves it. A clone company comes out. The first one comes out and says, oh, I can do that, and I can do that at $40. So let's just say this is the clone of it. Comes out. The reviewer, because they want views and they want money, it's okay to say, y'all, it's okay to say I like money. It's okay. I just want most of us to come out and just say we like money. I think we don't have to put the Robin Hood cape on all the time. I think it's cool to say, yo, I like money. I just think it's okay to say that. Yeah, I think it's okay to say that. But they'll come out, they'll review it, they'll put the clone up because that's getting the views. They do the clone, put it up, be like, bro, this is the best. Bro, this shit smells just 99.9, 89% like imagination, like Meteor. Okay, what's going to happen? Y'all going to go hit that TikTok shop. Y'all going to go hit those affiliate links. Y'all can go buy that joint, right? Y'all can go buy it because they said it was 98% close. 98. Yes, those are numbers we make up in our damn head. Contrary to popular belief, those aren't real measurements. But for numbers' sake, oh, it's 98%. Cool. Guess what happens? A couple months later, another clone company comes out. This is the new one from so-and-so clone, the even better one. This is 98%. Hold on, wait a minute. How is it better? Both were 98%. but this has more longevity. This is the one. You should get it. So what you do? You're going to spend your 40 because you love Meteor, because you couldn't imagine yourself paying $400 for Meteor. So you go out and you buy that fragrance. 6 months from now, this is the new one. This have hints of this. This is like, you can't tell a difference, but it's Meteor, but amped up with this. This is the greatest one. Well, this happens like 10 or 15 times. You don't bought all 15 of them, all 10 of them. Then they say, because I like the views and I know it's going to get the numbers, you'll say, top 10 of the best clones and ranking them. Well, guess what? The first one you paid money for, it's going to have to go to number 10 at some point. And they're going to be like, bro, that joint ain't shit no more. You just paid for it. And 6 months, a year ago, they told you this joint was the crankiness. Now they telling you that joint ain't shit. You should have got these other three. Where does it end? Where does it end? That's my problem. Where does it end? That's my biggest thing with it. It doesn't end. That's why I kind of like the originals, because it's just like, you know, even if I'm not getting and I get it. I'm saying for me, even if I don't like it, I can get different variations, give or take, and I can go about it with it. But I'm the same person that told y'all that I wouldn't buy. This is Tiger. I wouldn't buy Tiger again. This is a collector's piece for me. This is a collector's piece. This is nothing more than I own Bodissi. I like it. It's a collector's piece. I like it the best out of all the DNAs if price isn't included. But for the price, I think other fragrances in this genre are better than it pound for pound when it comes to what you get. That's me. That's how I value it. When this is done, I'm not going to grail hunt for this again. I'm not. So to me, it's just kind of like, it's cool. I got it. It's in the collection. But there's a nuance in this that I like better than the other ones, which is the Mojito Accord. That Mojito, fresh, green, herbaceous kind of, you know, that rum blanc and the crushed mint, and it just hits a little bit different off of my skin. It gives me a different vibe. And I can smell the difference between this and Tiger. Yes, I can smell the difference in it. I know the difference in them. Most people won't, but I'm gotta wear it. I don't care what most people do. But should I still have paid that for that? No, I shouldn't, but I'm a collector. So I had to collect that piece. I just wanted that piece, that particular DNA. I wanted that piece. But it's all for the love until the budget gets budged. Yeah, man. I mean, listen, I'm telling you, there's big business in defending. There's big business in defending clones. And I'm not for or against. I told you, I'm telling y'all now, I'm not against reviewing them. I'm not spending my money to buy them. There are people who will spend their money to buy them. If they send them, I'll review them, give my thoughts on them for people who watch me who are okay with buying that. Will I buy it? No. I got better things to do with my $40. I'll save that, put that into the budget to get the fragrance that I actually want. That's what I would do. I don't care what you do. That's what I would do. But there's big business in defending that. There's big business in defending that. There's a lot of money exchanging hands and a lot of people being able to be reviewers. Let's just say, hypothetically speaking, let's just say, let me see. Somebody asked the question, so let me get to it. EQ, ever spelled Memoirs Trouble in Paradise. It's a tropical scent, realistic mango. No, I had. So okay. No, I've heard that's a really good one. I heard it's very similar. I haven't smelt it, but I heard a lot of people say it fits in that porthole kind of family. But if it do, I have enough of those fragrances. I don't need to buy it. You see how that works? Like, I don't, it's not a DNA I need 50 of. It's not a DNA for me I need 50 of. I have 30 plus rose ouds. I love that DNA. I need all of it. I'm probably going to add cherry oud from Guerlain. That's another oud fruity fragrance. Do I need it? No, probably not. But I want it because it's about a list of 5 or 6 cherry fragrances I would wear. The rest, you can get them away from me. It's about a list of 5 or 6. That's it. The rest, I'm cool on. I'm cool. I have no desire. I don't care how good they smell. I'm cool on them. It's like 5 or 6. Cherry oud is one of them. That's for me. Don't you run out and go buy it. Let me see. Somebody said, in 1994, I purchased a newly built home for one. Now today's value, I wouldn't be able to afford it. Billy, that's how, unfortunately, that's bro, money, the cost of living isn't matching growth. But fragrances are going to be a reflection of the same thing. It's going to be a reflection of the same thing. We're going to eat it, as the consumer will always eat it. And this is the frustration. I get it. That's why I'm not never mad at people for buying clones. I don't care. But I also recognize what's going on. I'm not blind, and I'm not deaf, dumb, and blind either. It's big business. It's a lot of money being exchanged. Imagine this. It's never going to happen, but imagine this. Imagine if the top 15 fragrance influencers, the top 15 numbers, motion, views, all came out in one day and said, bro, we ain't wearing this shit no more, bro. Forget these clones. Maybe they all did it because they wasn't getting paid enough. I don't know. This is a hypothetical. The top 15 in clones, the top 15 fragrance influencers between TikTok, YouTube, IG, the top 15 in each market, the top 15 all said, yeah, we ain't reviewing these no more. They just stopped. Said, yeah, these ain't good enough. You know what happened? That'll be like Jay-Z saying death of the auto-tunes. People will stop using auto-tunes. It would go away. It would stop being on your feed. People will buy less of them. There will be less people doing fragrance reviews because everybody can't afford to keep up with the niche in designer fragrances. Designers aren't coming out as frequently and they're not as inspiring. So, and then you would have no influencer reviewing the fragrance, and some of y'all scared to blind buy unless an influencer say it's okay to get it. So now you have to choose if you're going to blind buy, but none of the favorite influencers are reviewing it. That's going to trickle down. They would disappear. The same way I haven't seen a review of Dua on my stream in a minute. I ain't seen a Dua fragrance pop up. I ain't seen an Alexandria fragrance pop up on a top 10 in the longest. I ain't seen a Parfum. 2017, you couldn't see a top 10 without Parfums Vintage. I haven't seen them in many top 10s in a long time. If the top 15 said, no, we're done, then we'll be done and it'll be over. And a lot of people will start disappearing. There will be less influencers. And that's just from an economic standpoint. It'll be less. Because now you got to go out. Now you got to, you know, even if you're going on fragrance buy, it's like $200 a bottle. Now you spending that and you ain't necessarily getting the bottle sent to you if you're trying to get into the game, bro. It wouldn't be, I'm not saying that's a good thing or bad thing. I'm saying I'm looking at it from the big spectrum that this is a factual thing. It'll be a fact. You know why I can say it's factual? Because you don't see Alexandria on top 10 lists. You don't see Dua on top 10 lists. I haven't seen a top Dua list in forever. And I don't know when the last time I seen somebody talking about Parfums Vintage. If you've been around since 2000 in Fragcom, since 2014, 13, or whatever it was, you remember 2016, 17, 18, them joints was everywhere. Well, maybe not Alexandria. Alexandria came on around 2017. 17, I want to say. They came on. From 17 to 19, they was everywhere. You don't see them. I can look at, we've gone down this road before. I know what it looks like. I've been around long enough to see it happen. I'm not saying it should or shouldn't. I know it's not going to happen because we live in an economy where you just can't survive on one job. You need several streams of income. We live in a society where you need several streams of income. Surviving on one income is crazy nowadays. It's just, you need several streams of income. And you need income you can make when you sleep at night. That's generating money. Your money should be workers, and your dollars should be making you money when you go to bed at night. So content creation is a good way to do that. Investments is a good way to do that. Put your money to work. Make your dollar make more dollars. You know what I'm saying? Hidden Gem say, I don't know if it would be that simple. I will say it's, I mean, I don't know how long you really been watching the Fragrance Influence, but when the last, I don't know if you was you around doing the Parfums Vintage Days? Was you around doing the Parfums Vintage Days? If you wasn't around, the top influencers, and I'm not saying they were getting paid or not. I don't know if they was doing the free bottles or whatever. I don't know. It ain't my problem. Okay, so you remember they made lists all the time. All the time. They still make fragrances. Let me go to their website. They still make fragrances. When the last time you seen them? So all of a sudden, do their fragrances suck? If a lot of people are doing top 10 clone fragrances and clones and clone stuff, why aren't Parfums Vintage on that list? Are they not good anymore? Do they not make quality? I know they started off doing a lot of vintage batches, and the vintage is kind of like played out or whatever the case is. But are they no longer doing good clones anymore? I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that Alexandra is still making fragrances and duos. So why don't those fragrances make any top 10s? Why aren't those fragrances on any comparison clone videos? Why aren't those fragrances on those lists? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, because, all right, you say economic, but I mean, Dua in Alexandria, when you get them on sale, was the same. It's about the same price as the Middle Eastern fragrances. Just about. Now, Parfums Vintage job started costing the price of whatchamacallits, but it's the same price. Let me go to it. Ain't been years since I've been on Alexandria website. What's the? Let me see. Alexandria fragrances. Alexandria fragrances. Let's go to the. Why not? Why not? For shits and giggles. Why didn't this show up? Huh? Alexandria fragrances. They got a new one. Eaton Garden. Let me see. Learn more. Okay. 100 ml for $100. Oh yeah, price don't went up on them. I guess price should go up if sales gone down. So they got 48 items left in stock. 100. I mean, 100 for 100 ml. That's $1 per ml. I mean, all right. I can see Middle Eastern's kind of like $60 or whatever the case is, trying to compete. But they used to. How was they making a list at all back in the days? I mean, the prices were about the same. I don't see them. I never bought any, but I mean, maybe so. I don't keep up with them. I had my reasons. I talked about it a long time years ago. I don't really get into it no more. But my point is, you don't see them. You don't see them. I don't see TikTok people talking about the brand. I don't see them. I don't see them. I you know, uh, I don't see them on lists no more. I don't. Not by the big boys. People with 100K plus. I don't see them. Why not? If enough people, it will stop. It will stop because you will stop seeing it. You'll stop seeing it. But you won't stop seeing it, and this is all a hypothetical that'll never happen because they're going to pay over there, and it's going to get the views. So it's a reason people want to defend it as well because it benefits them. I would want to defend something that benefited me too. I would. I'm indifferent because I pay for all my stuff. I'm indifferent. And I'm sure some people who say I pay for my $60 clones too. Yeah, you probably do, but it's still a difference between $60 and $250 and $500. It's just a difference. Not saying I'm better or worse. I'm just saying it's a difference in keeping up with that and being able to keep up with that if you choose to keep up with that. It's just a difference. It's a difference. Yeah, they barely tread water. So my thing is like, I think there's skin in the game for a defense of it in the community. There's skin in the game. Do it benefit the community? Yeah, absolutely. It benefits people who shouldn't be spending that money anyway. It's a lot of y'all. I've said it before. Y'all watch my content. I don't think people need to be spending that much money on fragrances anyway. But they do. They do. And it ain't my problem if they do, but that's it. But where we at? All right, we're about 2 hours. We can go ahead and wrap this up. If anybody got a couple more comments they want to hit me with. But that was me just trying to get, me and Triple B, we did our thing. That Perfume Poetics gonna take probably about a 3-week hiatus. Triple B is gonna be doing a lot of traveling. So I'll figure out what that content is going to be like on a Friday. I'll figure out what that's going to look like. But, it might just be more top 10s of different stuff. We're going into a new season. I can easily throw a top 10 list, real quick together. Especially coming up into the season, date night. I got all sorts of, I got fragrances I ain't even talk about yet. So I got stuff to talk about. But yeah, it's just, it's different. People have motivators, man. Motivators, and money's a motivator. People can say what they want to say. Money is a motivator. It is a motivator. The ability to make money is a motivator. And I'm not trying to hurt nobody making no money. I've always said I'm indifferent to what people. I'm indifferent. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody gonna convince me that X amount of fragrance smells like maybe. You ain't gonna convince me of that. Go convince them. Yeah, I'm cool. Yeah, but it's $60 and I get more compliments. Yeah, bro. Well, if the whole I get more compliments, so it's better, or I get more compliments. Well, you got compliments with your other 50 fragrances you own. So why did you buy that? If it's a I save money thing, then why are you keep buying? You got the same compliments, and some of y'all have still don't get compliments except for from people who you know. You're 300, 500 fragrances in and you still don't get compliments. I don't know what you're doing, bro. If that's your motivator, you're still not getting what your motivation is. So I'm gonna tell you, don't get faith. If you waiting on my blessing, I'm telling you, bro. Like, it ain't at this price point. At this price point, for me, it's not worth it. I will never buy another bottle of Faith unless they bring it back. If they bring it back and I can get it back for the price I was getting it at, $550, yeah, I'm getting 2 more bottles, bro. I'm hoping that Spirit of Dubai can bring it back in their bottles like they sold the formula to Spirit of Dubai. I'm hoping they did that and I can get it in that variation for like 5 something maybe, and I would get like 2 more bottles maybe. I'll probably get like 2 more. At $550, I'll probably get like 2 more. And at 4, I'm good. because I'll never burn through it. So at 4, I'm good. But let's see, 125. All right. And for anybody leaving, we about to go ahead and head out. It's getting kind of long. It's getting long-winded, but I was able to get what I wanted to get off as far as my first impressions in my weekly rotation. That was really what I wanted to get off, and then everything else was just going to be answering questions and talking. So if that's it, again, do what works best for y'all, man. I'm not here to argue. I know some people in comments be like, bro, but clones, bro, I've gotten more compliments in my cheaper fragrance than my more expensive fragrances. So why are you telling me for? I don't care. Like, it don't change what I said and how I feel about it. Like, do you? I'm still going to buy Raja's Bergdorf champagne for $1,000. I don't care that I get more compliments but I don't care. You're not going to change my mind, buddy. You can just convince yourself of that, and you know what I mean? Just convince. I mean, it's your money. Do what you do. Yeah, Dwayne. Some people be taking it. I mean, it's like some people want the affirmation. They want you to feel the way they feel about it. And I know there's fragrances I love, people don't love. It's impossible for y'all to love it the way I love it. It's impossible for y'all to love everything I love, but it doesn't change how I feel about those fragrances. It does not change how I feel about that. I'm not changing my mind. Arguing with me about it ain't gonna change my mind. And I still feel the same way I felt before you type whatever you type. It's in the grand scheme. It's not gonna change my mind. You know what I mean? But if you want to argue with yourself, cool. I'm gonna be like, peace, man. Appreciate you watching. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get up out of here. Angel Shares on the Rocks, I think it's good. I think it's really good. I should have it in my collection because I like all the liquors. So it'll be here. When? I don't know. When the price is right. When one of my guys hit me up and say, EQ, it's at the price is right, then I'll get it. Other than that, I'm not looking for it. All right, y'all. Peace, man. Until next time, we out.